Hello everyone, welcome to my study. This is first of a couple of fairly relaxed collection of bits and pieces. So Maundy Thursday today. I'm aware that not everybody goes to a Maundy Thursday service. In fact, very few of you, but I'll say no more about that. Maybe that's something I need to address in the years to come. It's a really significant part of this Holy Week. So I've put some things together. Basically for Maundy Thursday, I've stolen what I did last year. I'm not sure how far and wide it got, but I've re-looked at it and it still stands, everything I say last year. So my little Thursday night supper I've put together, and I've put that between a couple of stories. I was going to say children's stories. They're not children's stories, they're just stories, but children will enjoy them. But not that that's the point today. So there's a story of the Last Supper told by me. Then we're going to hear Matt Beckingham sing Brother, Sister, Let Me Serve You. Then we'll have my Maundy Thursday supper reflection, and then it'll round off with the story of Peter's denial. I say nothing formal about this, but something to mark Maundy Thursday. Bless you. Enjoy. Jesus decided he was going to have a meal with his friends. So they booked a room up some stairs where they could all fit in and gather together. And they got together to celebrate the Passover, the great festival of freedom. And they were eating and drinking and sharing together, smiling and having a laugh and sharing stories, enjoying each other's company as they celebrated only the freedom that God can give. But as they ate and drank, Jesus began to look more and more serious. They looked at him, they looked at each other and thinking, he's not in the best mood. Well, they were all a bit frightened because the whole city of Jerusalem was filled with Roman soldiers. And, well, they were looking out for Jesus. Some of his friends thought they were going to arrest him and put him in prison. Anyway, they carried on eating and drinking, and well, as the party went on, Jesus got quieter and quieter until he just sort of sat there. And his friends noticed, so they went quiet too. And then they looked at him and the room became quiet. And at that moment, Jesus took some bread off the table. He said a prayer to God saying, "Thank you for this bread." And then he broke it up and he gave it to his friends and he said, "This bread, it's my body. It's broken up for you. Please eat it." And then he took some wine. He said, "Thank you to God for the wine." And he poured it out so that everybody had some. He said, "This wine's a new agreement. Drink, everybody drink." And they did. They ate the bread and they drank the wine. And now Jesus says, whenever you eat bread, whenever you drink wine, just remember me. Well, his friends weren't quite sure what he was saying, and they were going to ask him some questions. And at that moment, Jesus continued to speak, saying, "I just want you to know that tonight the soldiers and the powers in the temple, they're going to come and arrest me, because one of you will hand me over to the soldiers." And they all started to go, What? That's not possible. No. Jesus, I don't think that's right. But he wouldn't listen. He continued. He said, and when they do arrest me, everyone here, you will all run away. "No, we won't," they said. "We won't run away. I won't run away." "Well, he might run away." "I won't run away." "Well, he might run away, but I won't run away." "Well, you might run away." "I'm not going to run away." "Yeah, you're going to run away." "No, he's going to run away." "I'm not going to run away." "Yeah, you're going to run away." And they were just arguing, and then Peter, stood up and shouted above them all, "Quiet! Just want everyone to know that though you all might run away, Jesus, they might all run away from you, I won't. I'll stand by your side. Whatever happens, I will stand by you." Jesus looked straight at Peter and said, "Really? Really, will you?" So I'll tell you this, before we've got through this night, you will say 3 times that you don't even know who I am. Before the cock crows in the morning, you will have said you don't know me. Well, this made Peter very sad, and he went quiet again. Anyway, Jesus said, "Come on, let's go outside and sing some of the old songs that remind us of freedom." And so they did. They all set off outside. They sang songs as they went, and they made their way down to a little garden area in a place called Gethsemane. And there they gathered and carried on having a drink and singing some songs. But as they got down there, some of his friends realised that Judas wasn't with them. Judas was one of their friends, but he'd been a bit nervous over the last few days, and now, well, he was nowhere to be seen. They remember him being at the meal, and then he remembered Jesus having a word with him, but they don't remember much after that, and he certainly wasn't with them now. And they were just thinking these things through when they noticed at the gate to the gardens a crowd had gathered. They all had torches lit, and they were coming through the gate and clearly looking for trouble and looking for someone. Well, they all froze and thought, "Oh no, now here's danger, here's trouble." And they were just about to shout and tell Jesus when they realised that at the very front of their crowd was their friend Judas. And he came right up close to them. By now Jesus had stood up, and Judas came up to Jesus and took hold of him and kissed him on the cheek. And this was a sign to the soldiers that he'd brought with him to take hold of Jesus and arrest him. Well, the soldiers moved in, they took hold of Jesus. Jesus had a bit of a struggle, but not much. They held him back, and then they dragged him off to the prisons. And all Jesus' friends, well, they ran away, just as Jesus had said they would. And Peter, maybe he ran the fastest, but he didn't run far.
Sister, let me serve you, let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too. We are pilgrims on a journey and companions on the road. We are here to help each other walk the mile and bear the load. I will hold the Christ light for you in the night time of your fear. I will hold my hand out to you, speak the peace you long to hear. I'll laugh with you. I will share your joy and sorrow till we've seen this journey through. When we sing to God in heaven, we shall find such harmony, born of all we've known together, of Christ's love and agony. Brother, sister, let me serve you, let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too.
Hello, welcome to supper. Oops. I'm just finishing off with a bit of cheese and biscuits. Sorry, that's going to make horrible eating noises. I hate it when people eat on the TV. It's like MasterChef or something. Cheers. Oh, that's a good idea. Before I continue, because it's a special night, maybe you could get yourself a drink. I suggest you pause the film, just give it a break. Go and find yourself a cup of tea, a glass of water, a glass of wine, if you will, just a drink to share with me later. I'll just wait a moment. Oh, I haven't got my watch on. Probably best to pause it. So, you paused it. Welcome back. I hope you managed to get something to drink. Now, Maundy Thursday. I could tell you stories, but tonight I'm not telling you the stories. I could tell you of the upper room and the gathering of the disciples with Jesus. I can tell you about their conversations. I can tell you about how Jesus made them all deeply concerned because he talked of betrayal. He talked of one of the disciples handing him over to the authorities, and he dipped his bread in a bowl, and Judas was clearly identified as the one who was going to turn him in. Now, there are some Gospels, Luke, I believe, where even at that dinner table around the Last Supper, the disciples were still arguing about who was the greatest. And then there are stories in John of Jesus bending down, taking off his robe and getting a towel and washing the disciples' feet, and Peter objecting, and Jesus trying to explain how he was showing them an example of being a servant, and Peter was having none of it, but Jesus trying to get him to understand that if he was going to follow Jesus, if he was going to be part of Jesus' ministry, then he needed to become the servant of so many. And then, of course, there are the stories of Jesus taking bread and breaking it, sharing it out, saying to them, "This is my body." And then he pours out a cup of wine and asks them all to drink from it. It's the drink that, to me, is Well, it's really important. And not just because of all the sort of church history and the theology of communion that was laid over on it. Jesus pours out the wine, hands it to them and says, "This is my blood of the covenant." But for me, it's an emphasis of where the my is. It's as if to say, this drink that I share with you, this is my blood of the covenant. You see, the blood of the covenant was a sign of the agreement that the people of Israel had with their God. The blood of the covenant sealed them in relationship so that they would be God's people and God would be their God, watching over them, caring for them, redeeming them, setting them free to be a people. And though we have developed so many books upon books about the blood of Christ, it's the my that's important to me. This is my blood of the covenant, a drink shared with you. When we drink together, then we covenant ourselves to each other. We covenant ourselves to each other under the great commandment that Jesus gives us. That Jesus gives us. Love one another. I'll drink to that. Drink. This is my blood of the covenant, a drink shared with you. Because we're in this together. Here is my body. And this is what seals our covenant. The fact that we drink together. So drink together. Drink with me. Love one another. As our Lord commanded. Love one another. And as we eat together, either alone or together, we remember him. We remember that we are his. We are his body. And though there are stories to come about gardens and arrests and torture and execution, we are his body. And that body will rise. God bless. Peter, one of Jesus' friends, had said at the last meal they had together, "I will never leave your side, Jesus. Other people might say they don't know who you are, but I will never let you down." And Jesus had said to him, "Before this night is over, before the cock crows in the morning, you will say 3 times you don't even know who I am." And then Jesus had been arrested while they were singing hymns in the Garden of Gethsemane, and they dragged him off, and Peter had run away. But he didn't run far. He just ran round a corner to hide. And he watched as they dragged Jesus off to the prisons. And he followed on behind to see where they were taking him. And he stood around as they took Jesus from the prison to the courthouse, to the religious leaders, and back to the prison. Peter watched. He wanted to know what was going on. He wanted to know how Jesus was. But now he was getting cold. So he went into a courtyard where there were some people there, people who looked after the priests in the temple courts. It was the middle of the night, but, well, the prisons were open and the court was open, and they were going to put Jesus on trial. So Peter wanted to know what was going on. So he went up to the fire that they had lit there, and he tried to keep himself out of harm's way, but just listen in to what people were saying. As he stood there warming himself by the fire, a woman, a servant of the priests, came past, and she stopped. When she saw him, she looked at him and said, Aren't you one of Jesus' friends? I'm sure I've seen you with him." Well, Peter was shocked, and he turned to the girl and said, No, I'm not. Well, she carried on her way, but when she came back, she had her friend with her. And they had been talking about Peter. And the friend said to Peter as well, "No, you are definitely one of Jesus' friends, because I'm sure I've seen you with him." And again, Peter said, I don't know who you're talking about even. Who? Jesus? Who's he? I don't know who he is. No, you must have got the wrong man. Well, by now, other people had overheard the conversation, and they joined in. In fact, a man there said, "You've got a northern accent, you're from the north." Well, Jesus is from the north, and all his friends are from the north, and I think you definitely must be one of them. Well, at this, Peter lost his temper. He shouted. He said, "I do not know who you're talking about. I don't know who this Jesus is. Leave me alone." And he stomped off. Just as he was going away, he realised it was very early in the morning, and he could just hear a cockerel crowing to say that the dawn had come. And when he heard that, Peter remembered what Jesus had said at the meal the night before. It made Peter very sad indeed. He realised that he'd said he didn't know who Jesus was. One minute he was Jesus' best friend. Now he said he didn't even know his name. Peter started to cry. He was so upset that he had let Jesus down.